Hi friends, Suzanne here. Welcome to another paper pumpkin alternative video on my YouTube channel and blog. If you're new to my channel, I want to say hi. This video will share 5 alternative projects to stretch your paper pumpkin supplies. If you don't know what paper pumpkin is, click the link in the description box below and check it out. I always show what's in the box before I ignore all the instructions and create my own masterpieces. So come along with me as I attempt to create out of the box. Today's video is featuring the paper pumpkin for the month of February 2022. The name of the kit is Safari Celebration, and the purpose of this kit was to make 9 cards, and it has envelopes as well. Looking at this stamp set, I feel like I have several ideas that could stretch this kit into making more from the contents. And then, of course, Stampin' Up! Likes to put a few little blurbs in. Here's a hint for next month's Paper Pumpkin kit. It's using that Horizon Designer Series paper that was such a hit with our recent January to June mini catalog. They're also giving a little bit of information about the mini cut and emboss machine, which is a really affordable, very small die cutting machine. Really nice to have up on your desk. I use mine all the time. And then this little pamphlet just talks about having a connection with people, sharing creativity and creating community, which is what we all do as crafters. So I also wanted you to know that folks who subscribe to Paper Pumpkin with me get an additional PDF emailed directly to them with a dozen more ideas, alternative ideas, and of course they get entry into my special VIP Facebook group where I have giveaways. Anyway, the Stampin' Up colors in this kit are Bumblebee, Fresh Freesia, Pear Pizzazz, Rich Razzleberry, Soft Succulent, and Soft Suede. So you can see I'm sharing the instructions with you, and this is all that the kit came with. And and there's this really kind of cool faux glass, I think sea glass they're called, and there's vellum, and there's, leaves and such. So here I'm going to start off with my alternative card. So I'm using a card base from the kit, some basic white paper. I'm using the Rich Razzleberry, but in the bigger size, not the smaller size. I have a strip of basic white stamping weight paper here. I've inked up the happy birthday sentiment, and I am stamping it down on that little strip, and that again was from my stash. And now I am what is called seasoning the stamp. I'm inking it up, and then I just wanted to try out what it looked like stamped off. I didn't want something overly bright. So I inked it up and made sure that I'm going to get a good impression on that scrap paper. And then I stamped off, and then I stamped on, and this is a circle that I just die cut it. So it doesn't come in the kit, it was die cut. So now I've trimmed down my happy birthday, and now I'm going to assemble the card. So this is going to be my focal piece here. I'm putting this basic white card front on my card base that came with the kit. This is a vellum piece that came with the kit. And then I'm just going to put some adhesive down and lay my leaves down. So I have 3 leaves here. I have the Pear Pizzazz one, I have the Bumblebee one, and then the Fresh Freesia colored one. And I do have 2 of these little sprigs as well, but I'm flipping them over, and I wanted to create a white sprig, if you will. All right, so now I am putting my circle up on dimensionals, and there's dimensionals in the kit actually, which was really handy. And I just wanted to give an apology that this video is going up very, very late. Normally I try to get this the last week of the month, and it's very late. So I just wanted you to know I wasn't shirking my duties. I was helping my mom. Sadly, she was in hospital for a little while, and then I run a business too. So I just didn't have the time. So I do apologize for this being like quite late, three weeks. But I promise that the next paper pumpkin that comes out, I will have it out as soon as I can. It hasn't come in the mail yet. So, but this one was for February. The next one's coming in March. So you'll hear me again soon. Okay, so I'm just tucking some leaves in under that happy birthday. This is a very simple but classic looking card design. I'm putting some of those faux sea glass shapes in and around my sentiment, and I loved it. I loved this one. I loved 4 out of the 5 cards that I made, and honestly, if I had more time, you guys, I would have redone the one that I didn't like, but sadly, I don't have any time. I do have a whole bunch of alternative cards for this kit. I just didn't film them, but if you head to my blog after this video, you're more than welcome to take a look. I'll put the link in the description, and then you can pop over there because I have bonus card designs as well. Card number 2, and I am slicing off, let's see, what am I slicing off? About 1.5 inches off of one of the card bases. And that is my little trimmer. I don't know if you have a trimmer, but this one is lovely. All right, so I have a basic white thick card base, and you can see the colors that I'm using here. I'm stamping off some of these leaves, but I started off with Rich Razzleberry. I'm going on to Pear Pizzazz, and then I have Bumblebee, Soft Succulent, and Soft Suede. All the colors that are featured in this kit are featured on this card. And I am stamping the leaf off, and I did, you probably can't tell, but I edited out the cleaning of the stamp. Each and every color was finished. I cleaned the stamp in between. So you could either use a baby wipe, you could use a chamois. I happen to use my Stampin' Scrub and my Stampin' Mist. So it's just like a stamp cleaner. And of course, you want to be careful using harmful chemicals on your photopolymer stamps. All right, so here is my little soft sea foam strip, or soft succulent strip, and I'm putting some dimensional adhesive in behind. These are called bones, or that's what I call them, and I get them from, they're the edges around your Stampin' Dimensionals, and I have sometimes a plethora of them, so I do like to use them up when I can, usually on sentiment strips or like a banner like this. All right, so that was placed about 1/2 inch from the bottom of my card. I'm trimming off the excess, and now I'm coming in with the sentiment that says congratulations. And then I'm going to bring in that little scrap paper again, and with my soft succulent ink, I'm stamping off and then stamping on my sentiment piece. So that's just going to make it a very much lighter ink impression on that sentiment strip. And then more dimensionals on the back, and that is going front and center on my card. And then I am going to put a whole bunch of those faux sea glass shapes. And that is what I love about these new paper pumpkin kits that are coming out. They include samples of products that Stampin' Up! Is currently selling. For example, these faux glass sea shapes. And I gotta say, you know, if you're just kind of wanting to dabble your toes in the Stampin' Up world or card making world, this is a really good way of doing it because you get to try some products. You have, you know, you have a little, you get to create a little bit of a stash with some of those inks. And hopefully your demonstrator, or if you watch a lot of videos, they will be able to give you some ideas for card designs like this one. It's almost like making your own designer series paper. Well, it is. I'm a designer, and therefore this is my fancy designer series paper. What do you think? All right, moving on to card number 3. And this one, I love this one too. So I used the card base that I sliced 1.5 inches off. So that's the card base. And now here, this is just an extra piece of basic white. And I've inked up the word fantastic with the soft succulent color, and I am going to fussy cut it out. And fussy cut just means that I'm going to cut around the inked word. And I saved you the the boring watching of me doing that. By the magic of television, I could fast forward through this. So now on the card front, I've put adhesive, and now I'm just laying in a piece of, like I said, the basic white card, and then closing the card on it. And then I'll trim off any excess. So again, this was the card base I used in the last card. So if you followed that design, you might have the same extra card. All right, so now I've inked up my daubers. So I have Soft Succulent and Pear Pizzazz out. I did have Bumblebee out, but I chose not to use it. So this, I'm using a dauber, and I can softly daub on the colors, and I'm able to get two-toned colors on a stamp. So I'm inking up with Pear Pizzazz here, and then I'm dipping my dauber into the ink, the soft succulent ink, and then I'm stamping down on that basic white card that I adhered to the card front. So again, sort of the same feeling as the last card, card number 2, but this is giving us a dimensional colored leaves, and it's just on that 1.5 inch on the card, on the white card. So I'm twisting and turning my stamp so that I get a varied effect. I want it to look randomish. And you can have a little bit of fun when you are inking up these images, because none of them are going to be the same. And then I have it says you are, and then so, you are so. And I cut off the so. And now I'm cutting down the U and the R. So my sentiment will read, once I cut this in half and put some dimensional adhesive behind them, the sentiment will read, you are fantastic. So there's a way you don't have to cut your stamps. Sometimes it's awesome if you just you stamp your sentiment and then you cut your sentiment strip apart, as opposed to cutting your stamp. I know a lot of people can, have suggested you can cut your stamp. And you certainly can. There are no stamp police out there that are going to arrest you if you cut your stamp in half. But if you feel like you want to say something in a little different of a sentiment, you certainly can trim apart your sentiments. Wow, that was a really long way of explaining that. But so I'm putting those faux sea glass shapes all along the white card part. They get lost on the other animal print there. Okay, here we are with alternative card number 4. This is my least favorite card, and I like the card design, but I wasn't able to execute what I had in my mind. So here is this little cupcake that comes in the stamp set, and random stamping here along this 1.5 inch strip of basic white card. I'm coloring it. I'm using crumb cake, light and dark blends. So these are alcohol markers, and I'm coloring the cupcake holder paper with the crumb cake blends. And this is a very easy coloring technique, just giving a little bit of depth right underneath the cupcake icing. And that's that. It's not very hard at all. And then I come in with, I think I have Bumblebee here. And do we have a Bumblebee? It might be Daffodil Delight. Yes, it's Daffodil Delight. This is Fresh Freesia, and this is Balmy Blue. And I believe I used Garden Green for this one, and Rich Razzleberry. Oh no, maybe this is Blackberry Bliss. Pardon me. They're very, very similar in color. And then I colored over those alcohol colorings with Wink of Stella to give it a little bit of a sugary look. Now, if you don't have blends, alcohol markers, you certainly can use any other kind of like pencil crayons or markers or what have you. So how this card went wrong for me was this particular stamp. I was trying to make it look like a splatter, and it's more of an animal print. So in my brain, I thought it would look more like a spritz or a splash, but it didn't. And I should have stopped here, but I didn't. I put all the colors down, and even the placement is, I mean, right there, it doesn't look too bad. However, I went in with my dauber, which this is a second mistake. I went in with my dauber with that soft succulent color, and honestly, it should have been Fresh Freesia. It should have been the pink or the purple, because that is the color that I used. I don't know why I chose soft succulent. And again, I have to excuse myself. Of course, I've been under a little stress this last month, and I'm not thinking 100% correctly. So I'm going to stick with that. So I did put this little strip about 1/2 inch up from the card, the bottom. And like I said, I kind of even knew right there it wasn't going. So I don't know why I put the green there. Like I said, it should have been Fresh Freesia. And what I should have done is just taken a marker and flick the tip or something like that and created my own splatter. The animal print, like I said, did not translate into what I was trying to do. But I kept on going. You know, sometimes you just hope, oh, well, if it keep on going, it'll work out. It's not a bad layout, but I think that there was a little issue with the, like I said, execution with the stamps that I had. All right, so I inked up the Happy Birthday in Rich Razzleberry. I trimmed it down. I was going to go for the angled look, and then I chose not to. Been a little indecisive lately, so pardon me. Like I said, I'm not 100% myself this month. All right, and then I just put that little Happy Birthday on, and then I did put some of those little faux sea glass shapes, and I put them just along the bottom of that Happy Birthday and a few on the top. All right, here we are with card number 5. This might be my favorite, and I always ask for you guys to vote. Tell me which one is your favorite. You don't have to tell me which one you don't like. I mean, you know, let's be nice. I mean, you could agree with me that number 4 was not the most excellent. All right, I have 4 little strips of basic white here. I stamped with Rich Razzleberry for the amazing, Pear Pizzazz for You Did It, Soft Succulent for Fantastic, and Let's Celebrate with Soft Suede. Now I have a piece of basic black cardstock here. I'm putting adhesive on my little sayings, and I'm putting my words on that piece of basic black. And I'm leaving a bigger border on the top and some little slivers of black for in between each line of cheery word. And then I'm going to get my big old scissors out, and I'm going to trim just a little bit bigger of a border on the bottom here. So the top of this black and the bottom of the black match. Now this is the most satisfying thing, I think, when we can trim off the little haircuts, like I said, like I always think it is. It's like a little haircut. And then I'm going to put dimensional adhesive on this rectangle. Now, as in true Sun Stampin' fashion, I am going to rip apart some of the cards and envelopes. You know I'm not afraid to rip apart envelopes when it comes to my paper pumpkin alternatives. So these two, I'm taking about 1/2 of an inch off of the card bases that were in the kit. So I'm having a nice array of different colors. And then here's the envelope, and the envelopes had this really unique sort of design on the side. So I cut that off. Then I just wanted to make a little strip that is about 1/2 an inch wide. So this is the greatest thing about this trimmer is, I mean, not only does it cut paper really well, but it does cut really small, thin strips down. That is a must for me. All right, here I'm going in with my Excalibur letter opener. If you have watched my videos before, you know how much I adore my Excalibur. And now I'm just, like I said, this is an envelope that I've put apart, so I can always use some of that paper in another project. And oftentimes off camera, I do a whole bunch of like thank you cards for my customers. And I really do very much appreciate my customers. I know maybe people are getting fed up with me that, you know, I'm not 100% on time with certain things. And I do apologize. My family does come first. And, you know, that's the way it is. So Stampin' Up is sort of my second jobby. But right now my mom needs my attention and there's not a lot of extra help. So here is my card base, and what I'm doing is I'm smearing some glue right on the edge because I don't want any of these like little pieces of paper to flip up. So I wanted to make sure that all of the paper is getting stuck. And as the glue is drying, I will go in with the glue again and sort of scribble on a line or two. I just wanted to make sure that the edges are getting coated, that they're not going to flip up. But I'm just randomly selecting some pieces, some little strips. This is also a really good idea if you have extra designer series paper, and I know that I have a tendency to hoard all of my papers. If you have something that has the same colorway, you certainly could make a cheerful, happy card using different patterns as long as the colors sort of go together like this particular card design. I think, like I said, I think this card design is my favorite. Well, I like all of them except number 4. All right, so I'm going to pick that fresh freesia as my top portion. I'm going to fold the card over. I'm going to give it the most satisfying little haircut. And I did like to leave these like little paper cuts, I should say, in because I don't know, I find them satisfying. Sometimes I when I watch YouTube, I watch those most satisfying videos and you just see like a donuts being made or some dude making a cotton candy something. I don't know. Sometimes it's just fun to watch, papers being cut. If you're weird like me, comment it down below that you like watching that. All right, so here is my sentiment, and I'm adhering it straight. And then that's pretty much it. I used Wink of Stella on the black card, but that's it. Those are my 5 alternatives. Like I said, I would love for you to jump into the link below to go visit my blog because there's going to be a whole bunch more bonus pictures, alternatives. You can find more pictures and information about these creations on sunstampin.com. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you again soon. Bye for now.